So you're a worker who just went from teleworking and now you're being called back into the office and you don't know where to live in the DMV? Well, in this video today, we're going to discuss just that. I'm going to show you some key areas that you might want to call home when you move here. And we're going to get into that right now. Now, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Brittany. I'm a realtor proudly serving the DMV area. And look, if you're one of these workers who have gone from teleworking to now having to be in person, trust me when I say you're not alone. It has impacted my household as well. And we're going to get through it, y'all. We're going to get through it. And today in this video, I'm going to help you get through it because we're going to find some places that might be ideal for you when you move here to the DMV. And you want to make sure you stay on to the end because I'm going to talk to you about an area that I think is a secret here in Maryland, but it's like my favorite spot. So we're going to talk about that. Make sure you turn on your notifications and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of these videos where we talk about DC, Maryland, and Virginia and all this beautiful DMV area has to offer. Okay, so before we jump into my computer where I show you the map, there are actually 4 things I want you to think about when you're trying to figure out what is the best place for you to live in the DMV area. Because honestly, y'all, there's a ton of options. Number 1, I want you to think about commute time. What is important to you? How long would you like to be in the car or on the metro or on the bus? For some people, that might look like 15 minutes. Some people, an hour drive is okay for them. And some people don't mind a 2-hour drive. So we want to think about what time works well for you in terms of how close do you need to be to your new home and your job. Number 2, metros and highways. Now, the beauty of living in the DMV is we're extremely accessible, right? We have all the 95s, 395, 495, 95, all the things, 301, 210, all the things. They're here. But the question is, do you want to travel on the highways and do that? And some places you might need to pay tolls depending on where you're coming from. Or do you want to be metro accessible? Is your office even near a metro that you can utilize? Now, I know parking for some of these buildings and employees that are coming back, that's a concern. So maybe the metro is a good fit for you. And so we want to find a home that's near the metro. Number 3, y'all, affordability. Depending on where you're coming from, I'm not going to lie, the DMV might be a sticker shock. Especially if you're coming from like the Carolinas to here, we're gonna work it out. But that doesn't mean we can't find something that works well within your price range. Different areas, of course, in Maryland are gonna have different costs. Different areas, and I shouldn't just say Maryland, but Maryland, DC, or Virginia, they all have different costs, different taxes, all the differences, right? So we wanna find an area that's gonna work well for your budget as well as maintain your lifestyle. And since we mentioned lifestyle, that actually leads me to point number 4, and that is lifestyle. How is it you want to live when you move here, right? Do you like more of the country vibes? Do you like more suburbs? Do you like more city where you can come out the house, walk down the street, and you're at your grocery store? Do you prefer to be like maybe 15 minutes away from your grocery store? Things you want to think about, restaurants and proximity to nightlife. What is important to you? Okay, so now that you know the 4 important considerations you want to think about when relocating to the DMV, we're going to jump into my computer and I'm going to show you some of these areas. All right, so here we are looking at the DMV area, right? So we have DC or, Washington. I'm not going to do the best drawing, but you have it here, right? Okay, so first let's talk about Virginia. That is a common area that people like to live in. Alexandria, Arlington, those are common areas that people frequent to when working for the government or whoever your employer is. But of course, today we're focusing on federal workers, right? So right here you have Arlington, and you see that it's right outside of DC. You would really just kind of cross over the bridges over here to come into Arlington. Arlington is a popular area. It's near like Pentagon, where it really is where Pentagon Mall and all those things are. So that can be a great location. Price-wise, it can be a little bit higher, but you also have Alexandria right here. I personally love Alexandria. Out of all of Virginia, Alexandria holds a piece of my heart. It is such a sweet and quaint little spot. I love Old Town Alexandria. If you like going out to eat and you like kind of the city vibe, but not really the city, Alexandria to me is a great place for that. They have great restaurants and cobblestone roads and places to sit by the water. And as you can see, you're very close to DC, and you're even maybe like 15 minutes if you were to come down here at 495 and come over here into Maryland. You can see right here you have National Harbor, right? So that's technically Maryland, but you're really close to that if you live in Alexandria. So with both Alexandria and Arlington, you're gonna be like 5 to 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes of traffic outside of DC. And again, it really just depends on where your office is in terms of what your commute might look like. But both options are gonna put you in close proximity to your employer. Now, if you need transportation, I would say Arlington. which is right here. I think that's going to be a better fit for you because there's more access to the metros. Alexandria, I would need to check on that. I don't even think they have metro stops there. They do have the mark and like the actual train if you need to access that, but I don't think there's a lot of metro stop. I got to check on the metro stops in Alexandria. But Arlington, you can definitely get there. Now, if you still want to be in Virginia, but you want to be a little bit deeper into Virginia, you can also come out here to Springfield. And to do that, as you can see, you have $4.95, and then you can even go through $3.95 to take you into the city. But Springfield's a great area. Springfield's gonna put you about 20 to 30 minutes, really more 30 minutes outside of DC. If you're feeling like you really want to commute, you can come all the way down here. You can come down here to Woodbridge, and you would just do that by taking 95. Now, the benefit of coming down further away from the city, as to be expected, is your prices are going to go down. So in Woodbridge, while that might be a little bit of a commute, because that's going to put you 45 hours probably, depending on the time of day that you leave, but if you're in Woodbridge, you're going to get more bang for your buck out of the cities that we're discussing in Virginia, right? And of course, you can go to any of these areas like Burke, Fairfax, Chantilly's right here. So you can see, like, you could take $4.95 if you want to be on the Chantilly area. I kind of just created my own road, but you get my point. You can easily get to that area, okay? So that is the Virginia area. Again, that's Arlington and Alexandria if you want to be in close proximity to DC, but no, you're going to be paying close proximity prices. So it's going to cost a little more, you're going to get a little less, but you are going to have more city access, more things to do, better nightlife, great eating options. Springfield, you can come out a little further to like 20 to 30 minutes. So that's another option. And if you really want to come out further, you have places like Woodbridge or even Chantilly where you're going to get more affordable homes. The ones we've discussed is going to be the furthest out. But you have options, okay? Okay, so we talked about Virginia. Now we're gonna talk about Maryland. So again, I'm just gonna draw our border. As you can see, art is not my jam, even with this. Okay, that's not what DC looks like, but you get the point. All right, so for the Maryland side, you have, let's start with Bethesda and Potomac. So these areas are both beautiful. You probably heard of the Real Housewives of Potomac, and that in itself is going to tell you if you go to Potomac, you're going to have higher price points. You are going to find homes in the $1 million range, possibly even multi-million dollar range. For townhomes, you probably could find some in the 5 and up category, but again, Potomac is going to be a little bit on the pricier side when you think of like the whole DMV. Now you could also move further out to Gaithersburg and Germantown, and these would only be further out depending on where you're located, but I'm not going to get into those. I'm going to show you the cities that are a little closer to DC where they kind of hug the city a little bit, but the Potomac is beautiful. Bethesda, I love Bethesda. I mean, who doesn't love Bethesda? But as you can see, it is bordering DC, which means you will have some higher price. So Bethesda does have like Bethesda Row where all the shops are and the restaurants. I mean, it's just a great location, but again, you're going to have higher price points because you're paying for that proximity, because especially when you get to like that Chevy Chase area, but you're in DC. So with that, home prices are going to be higher. You could easily find a condo or a townhome in the $1 million range. That doesn't mean you can't find properties in the $600,000 range, but you're likely going to be on the higher side, like 800,000 maybe to like 1.5 million and up in the Bethesda area. Again, there's some variability with that, but just know you're going to have higher price points. And you can see here that Bethesda, it's just a great location when you think of proximity to DC. Now, Bethesda and Potomac, those are going to be in Montgomery County Public Schools. So if schools are something you have to consider, and I would encourage you to do your research, but Montgomery County is one of the, I believe it's recently ranked number 2 in the state. You want to verify that depending on when you're seeing it, because things change. And also just check your local schools, because depending on where you're looking, each schools are different within, the school district itself. So another place you could move if you want to come a little further out is Olney. Olney is going to be more suburban vibe, a little quieter. It's a really nice location. The homes are older out there. You can find price points in the 6 to over $1 million range in Olney as well. With Olney, if you're coming to the city, it doesn't show it on this map, but I mean, you could take 200, but you're likely going to need to take a toll into the city, right? Again, I just made my own highway. Don't judge my drawing, but Olney's an option. So we're gonna get into another portion of Maryland where you have, I'm gonna talk about Greenbelt. I love some Greenbelt, y'all. I actually live there. Greenbelt is PG County or Prince George's County here in Maryland. It is a beautiful place in Greenbelt. It's super diverse. It's just chill. They have everything you need. I feel like Greenbelt could step up its game with restaurants, but you're also very close to College Park, which does give you a little more variety in food. Now, If you follow me for 5 seconds, you know my favorite grocery store in this area is called Mom's Organic Grocery Store, and College Park has my favorite location, and that is because it is massive, but it's not like overwhelmingly massive. I love their products, and they also have what's called the Naked Lunch, which is like their lunch counter, and they have really great food, all plant-based. So shout out Mom's Organic Market if you love them as much as I do in the comments. I have no affiliation with them, maybe sponsorship someday, but not there yet. So anyway, but they have my favorite Moms in College Park, and there's a lot of restaurants there too. If you are more plant-based, you have options in College Park as well as Greenbelt. New Vegan is there. There's a few other spots and I'm blanking on right now, but they're great. And then you also have Hyattsville. Hyattsville is a very cool, chill vibe to it. Very walkable if you're looking for that. If you're looking for somewhere like you can walk to the grocery store, Hyattsville might be a great location. And like I said, it's really close to DC, that is. The map is starting to look a little cray-cray. So let's come over here to Silver Spring. Silver Spring is amazing. As you can see, there's a few places that I love a little more maybe than others, but Silver Spring is great. What I love about Silver Spring, if you're looking for the walkability, because Silver Spring is literally on the border of DC, so you could even live in Silver Spring and walk into DC, like it's that easy. Plus, you can't see it well on this map, but you're close to Rock Creek Park, which is one of my favorite parks here in the DMV area. It's just a beautiful park with trails, and it's large and massive and all the things, so it's just gorgeous. But Silver Spring has the red line, very close proximity, so if you need the metro, you can easily get on it in Silver Spring. And the price points, there's just going to be a variety there because you do have condos, you have some townhomes, and you have single family homes, and it just depends on how close you are to downtown Silver Spring in terms of what your price range is going to be. But you could find something in the 4 range depending on what you're looking for in terms of number bathrooms and bedrooms, and then you could also find some in $900,000 to maybe even $1 million range depending on where you are in Silver Spring. And also let me say too, Silver Spring is still Montgomery County. I know I was talking about Prince George's County, but Silver Spring is Montgomery County. But let's get back into Prince George's. You have Bowie over here, which is beloved town of Bowie. Who doesn't love Bowie? So many things to do there. Quiet, chill, suburb vibe, and it's just good people in Bowie. I feel like everybody I knew from Maryland before I lived here were from Bowie, and they're just good people. You come a little further up, which would be Laurel, and you could, come on down this way. And what we're not seeing here, I mean, you could go if you wanted to, is like Howard County. I'm not going to discuss Howard County today, but Howard County might be another area where you look into if your office is located in Maryland, because there are some federal government buildings located in Maryland. All right, y'all. So now we're going to get into a different portion of Maryland. So we're going to come a little more south. And again, let me put our border back up for DC, right? So if you want to come a little more south, and so this is going to put you closer to like right over here is like that southwest portion of DC, but great alternatives. This can also be, if you want to come more south, you're generally just going to find better price points here and more land and more bang for your buck. So you have Upper Marlboro, which is over here. And again, if you're wondering, Bowie's up here. I feel like Bowie and Upper Marlboro are often grouped together. But if you're in the Upper Marlboro area, you could come 301. That's going to take you the wrong way where I'm drawing, but you come in the city this way. I mean, there's a lot of ways to get to from Upper Marlboro to the city. But then if you want to come even more south, you have like Clinton, and then down here you have Accokeek. Both Clinton and Accokeek are going to give you lower price points. Both cities kind of have different vibes. To me, Accokeek is a little more country than Clinton, but it's a great location to live, and it puts you pretty close to the city. National Harbor is going to be like right across the bridge from DC. Gorgeous views of the water, and it's just, if you want nightlife and you want to be near the nightlife, National Harbor could be a great spot for you. In terms of the Maryland cities that I just discussed with Clinton and Accokeek, National Harbor is going to be your priciest one. You are going to have some condos in the 500K range, and then more townhomes depending on how close you are to like the National Harbor itself. Those could easily be in the 900 to 1.2, $1.3 million range. There are some single family homes like in this Oxon Hill area, but because you're just close to everything, you're gonna pay for it. But if that's important to you, it works. It's all right there. With Clinton, you're just gonna have lower price points. You're not gonna have metro accessibility in Akakeek, Clinton, or National Harbor. So that's the downfall of the southern portions. Okay, so before we talk about DC itself, for these areas that I just discussed, of course, National Harbor is going to put you the closest. So you're going to get into the city within like 10 to 15, maybe 20 minutes, depending on traffic. Clinton is going to put you about 20 to 30 minutes outside of the city. And again, you're coming into like that southeast, southwest portion. Now, if you're coming from Clinton to the northeast, northwest portion, it's going to take an hour actually. And same with Akakeek. It just depends on where you're going. But from Akakeek to DC, you can easily get into the city like 25, 30 minutes into that southeast, southwest portion, maybe even under 20 minutes. You get there under 20 minutes, you're speeding. But if you're going to that northeast and northwest portion of the city, that's going to take you at least 45 minutes from Akakeek and the southern portions of Maryland. All right, so let's get into DC itself. Okay, so I've kind of zoomed in my map so we can talk about DC itself. And I'm going to start off talking about that southern portion because we were just talking about Maryland. So over here, as you can see, you have Navy Yard, which is going to be in that southeast portion. I cannot talk. But we also have like Deanwood over here. And there's a lot of different neighborhoods in DC that you could explore, but I'm just kind of pulling these up with the map. But keep in mind that DC is broken into 4 quadrants, right? So you have northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest. So those matter. Those locations matter, and you want to keep that in mind. As you can see, like over here, you have the Navy Yard, like I was telling you about, and we're in like the southwest portion, and you can see the White House and the Capitol, which are 2 different things, y'all. Some people think it's the same building. It is not. I won't shame you if you thought it was one place. Okay, so right here you have the Navy Yard, right, as a possible living location. I love Navy Yard. I know there are a few places I've been talking about that I love. Navy Yard is one of them. They have come up so much in the last few years. The food is good, the restaurants, they just have so many different things you can do out there. They have great workout spots. Navy Yard is really cool. Deanwood is going to be a little more home vibes, meaning it's not as much walkability as maybe you would have in Navy Yard, but you're gonna have better prices in Deanwood. Now again, just to show you where we are in this region of DC, you see you have the Capitol here and the White House here. Hopefully you know, but some people don't, and I'm not gonna judge. Those are 2 different things, White House and Capitol. They're not the same building. If you knew that, just, bear with me. A lot of people don't. All right, so now we're gonna, come up a little bit. We talked about that. So earlier you heard me mention Rock Creek Park, which as you can see is very large. I love Rock Creek Park. Okay, so you have Rock Creek Park, right? So a lot of things to do around Rock Creek Park. You heard me mention Chevy Chase earlier. Chevy Chase is beautiful. It is pricey. This is gonna be your higher price point in the DC area. You're gonna be easily in the $1 million range, multi-million-dollar range as well. You're close to, as you can see here, like American University or the National Washington Cathedral, and you have all your Smithsonian's all over here. So northeast, northwest, again, just depending on where your office is, that could be a great area for you to live in. And there's so many different neighborhoods. If I were just to zoom in, but it's gonna shift my map each time I do. There's a lot of different locations in Northwest where you can live, a lot of great streets, active nightlife, grocery stores you can walk to, all the things, and metro accessible. Georgetown, I did want to point out, is over here. Georgetown is gorgeous. You have all the shops in Georgetown and the restaurants. You're not gonna have metro accessibility. You are gonna have higher price points in Georgetown. But as you can see, you can easily hop over the bridge to come over to Virginia, or you can stay in DC. And as you can see from this map too, this even shows you how close, Arlington is just to get over here into the city, right? That's not a road that I drew, but you get my point. So Georgetown's a great area, but you're gonna pay Georgetown prices, which are gonna be in the $1 million range. So there you have it, folks. There are so many areas and neighborhoods in DC that I could go into, but we would be here all day. So I highlighted a few for you here, including like Georgetown, Deanwood. Okay, y'all, and I can't believe I didn't talk about one of my favorite areas, which actually is partly in DC, partly in Maryland as well. And so it's up here, but Takoma Park. I love Takoma Park. Near Silver Spring. Takoma Park's a little hippie to me, right? I love the vibes there. Very chill, very family oriented, very just community vibes. Like, I love Takoma Park. They have great shops and little restaurants if you just want to walk downtown. It's like a very small little city, but just chill. They have a few plant-based options out there, a great yoga studio named Willow Street Yoga. Be sure to check them out. I actually worked there for a little bit, not as a yoga teacher, but in the front desk, but great yoga studio. So check out Willow Street Yoga in Takoma Park. So there you have it. We went over the DMV area, and this is just a quick snapshot of the areas you can live here, because honestly, y'all, if I were to show you every area in DC or every area in Maryland and every area in Virginia, we would be here all day. because there are a lot of options here, and it just depends on where your office is located. But hopefully this video gave you like some good ideas in terms of what it is you're looking for, things you need to consider, what's important to you, so that when you move here, it feels good. Because again, I know this is a big transition for a lot of people, and it is an unexpected transition, but we're gonna work through it, and I'm here to help you in any way I can. So whether you're looking to move in the next 9 days or even the next 90 days, go ahead and hit my contact below. Let's hop on a call. Even if you just need to strategize, if you're not sure if you're going to move yet or if you're going to take the buyout option, let's talk it through. It never hurts to have a conversation just to know what you're dealing with and how you can proceed and what's going to work best for you and your family, right? So we can talk about that. And let me also add, if you need to sell your property before moving here, your girl's got connections, y'all. I have great partners all over the nation, so I'm able to help connect you with somebody who can do that for you, and we can work together in a timely manner so that things are orchestrated correctly, so that way you're not carrying 2 mortgages. Unless you want to. If you want to, I'm not going to judge you. But if you need to first step out of your current situation and sell that and then figure out how to move here, hey, we can work together to make that happen, okay? Now, I promised you, I was going to tell you where is my favorite place in the DMV, and honestly, when I was talking about the map, y'all, there were so many areas that I love, and I truly do. But if you're looking for more bang for your buck, like more land, just kind of like out of the city but near the city, I personally love Southern Maryland. And so I'm talking more of that Southern Prince George's County, even Charles County, which I didn't talk about today, but Charles County might include like Waldorf or La Plata and cities like that. And then you also have in the southern part of Prince George's, which I was just referring to as like that Acton, Brandywine, Clinton, those areas. To me, I feel like they're a great secret because you find beautiful homes in that southern portion of Prince George's County that can range from $800,000 to the high 9s, some even in the $1 million range. And there are properties definitely in the 5 to 8 range as well. So it just depends on what it is you're looking for. If you need a townhome, you can find it in the maybe 400 range, maybe the 300, depending on how many rooms you need. But that's where I personally love, and make sure you check out my video where we talk about that. And I feel like I've talked enough, y'all. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy you're here, and I'll see you in the next one. More city. Do you like kind of that country vibe? Husband's using a blender. This is why I shoot videos outside of the house. It never works inside the house. My husband's using a blender while I'm sitting here waiting. How long does it take to blend something? Still going. And this is why women can't get things done in the house. This picture should say, I can and I will, as long as my kids and my husband are not present.
Laugh so you don't cry.